Hey, what's up, military millionaires? I'm your host, David Perret. Today we have an exciting episode with Dan Krupa, who got out of the Army after 13 years, and he's since done a lot of fixing and flipping of homes. And then he's gotten into the buy and hold market in Kansas City and some other areas, and he's really killing it with cash flow and returns. He's an agent, doing some really solid things. So if this is your first time listening, thanks for joining the community. This podcast posts every single week for your enjoyment. The show notes are found at FromMilitaryToMillionaire.com/podcast. Now relax and enjoy the show.
You're listening to the Military Millionaire Podcast, a show about real estate investing for the working class. Stay tuned as we explore ways to help you improve your finances, build wealth through real estate, and become a person that is worth knowing.
Hey, what's up, everybody? It's Dave from Military to Millionaire Podcast. I'm here with Dan Krupa, who was a 13-year Army veteran and has now gone on to invest in real estate. And I could probably tell some of the story, but that's no fun. So, Dan, tell us a little bit about yourself. Welcome to the show.
Hey, thanks, Dave. Yeah, I appreciate you having me on. So like you said, I came into the Army in 2004. I did 13 years in the Army, mostly in the infantry. Loved it, got out early 2017, been a full-time real estate investor ever since. We mostly flip houses. We do have buy and holds. I am a real estate agent. We're working on expanding into some property management. Just love it. Anything real estate, that's our thing.
That's awesome. So you say you mostly flip, some holds. What is there a determining criteria for which route you go, or is it just how you're feeling at the time?
So when we started, right, we were trying to build up like a pretty good sized war chest before we wanted to start holding on to stuff. We've gotten a little bit of money in the bank, and then I had a property I bought way back in 2010. We just sold that last year. It was out in Tacoma, Washington, Puyallup, Washington, which is kind of south of Seattle by about 30 miles. So between kind of that and kind of what we've done in our business now, now we kind of have the reserves where we're looking at much more holding on to what we had. But our criteria before that was if we could get all of our money back, right? So we could, because we bought they were just like a flip house and needed a ton of work. We could fix it up. All the capital expenditures were brand new. We get all of our money back out, and it's still cash flow, at least $200 a month. Like, we're like, hey, well, this is a no-brainer. Let's hold on to these, especially in good areas with good schools, and then all the rest we'll just go ahead and flip. So, but now this next year we're looking at doing a lot more buy and holds and less flips.
Makes sense. What's the if I can ask, what's the motivation behind that?
The buy and the holds?
Yeah.
So, when I was getting out of the Army, we did a lot of market research. We're here in Kansas City, and we moved to an area that I just love. And what I see happening up here, I think in 10 years, the property values are going to really have skyrocketed in the next 10 years where we're at. Because if you look at kind of the path of progress in Kansas City, where we're located, this is where they're trying to funnel everything, right? So when you start seeing your Costco's going up and Lowe's and, Whole Foods and all these other things starting to come in, you're probably on the right track. So that's why I really want to buy up and hold as much as we can, and kind of moving in, expanding our business into some other areas. Like I talked about, property management, probably do a little bit of general contracting. That will feed the business itself. And so then our business can just try to, like I said, hold on to as many properties as it can.
I totally understand. I'm similar market down south in Missouri is most of my stuff. And I'm a fan of buy and holds. I've done a little wholesaling, fix and flip stuff. But I think the reason I like the buy and hold market is you can keep making money down the road, right? Appreciation's great, but, flipping is a lot more work in order to make the money. I mean, it's great income, but it's more – it's not as passive. So –
it's not really passive, at all. And at first, for new investors, it's brutal. It is just brutal to get it in and figure out the system and get the good contractors and all that. But once you do get it out, it's like any kind of business model. Once you get systems into place and the right people, it gets much, much easier. A lot less time goes into it. But like you said, that's not our goal, right? At the end of the day, I don't want to constantly have a bunch of houses going on, have to be here, and I'm walking them every day and all that. I'd like to just get to have the rental side of the house.
Absolutely. Cool. Easy day. So trying to think what would be, I guess, in the flipping buy and hold world, what kind of properties are you guys looking for? Are you primarily single family? Do you dabble in like duplexes and triplexes, or is it just kind of, whatever you guys come across?
So to date, we have been focused on nothing but single family homes with an after repair value or market value, whatever you want to call it, of $165,000 or less, right? And so for us in this market, there's just, you see there's a lot of new building going on, right? And there's growth, but nobody is building starter homes anymore because the profit's not there, right? Why not build a home that costs $250,000 where a builder can make $75K? Why would they want to turn around and build a $175,000 house when they're not going to make anything on it, right? So for us, those houses are so easy. Once we get them down and we get them on the market, we're typically getting multiple offers within 24 to 48 hours of listing those. And like I said, those properties, when it comes to rental, it's very comparable, to have here a $135,000, $155,000 house where you can rent that out and maybe pay $50 or $100 more than an apartment, but now you get a 2-car garage and you get a yard for your dogs and your kids to play in and whatnot. So for us, like the numbers, it's just a no-brainer, right? So we are looking at moving into more multifamily, but each comes with pros and cons, but that's why we've been really just focused on the single family houses today.
Absolutely. And I mean, and for the fix and flip game, single family definitely seems to make more sense because it's a lot harder. There's a much smaller market for duplexes when you're trying to sell it and, not hold on to it forever. Which, that totally makes sense. So I guess one question I always like to ask people who are in that world is, how are you guys finding deals? Do you have a primary? I know in our world in the Midwest, you can still find stuff on the MLS, but is that your primary means, or are there other tricks of the trade you guys use?
We do find, like I said, I'm an agent, and I do find some deals on the MLS. A lot of deals, I wouldn't say a lot, right? So some deals we've gotten off of, the things that you hear about, right? We'll put a yard sign out in front of one of our flips. We'll get a phone call. I used to have a sign on the back of my truck. We got, a phone call off of that. Well, now a lot of it comes from referrals, right? They're pocket listings from other agents. Hey, they've heard about us, put it out there, kind of brand ourselves. And so they'll call us, hey, I've got this dump. The owners don't want to go through the whole hassle. Do you want to buy it? Yeah, absolutely. And then we also work with a couple wholesalers that we really like. And I did in the past, I did a couple mailings, got a couple deals off of that. I am starting up a wholesaling business with other guy. Because, really the leads that's the name of the game is, you buy right. So you got to get those leads. But predominantly it just comes from like pocket listings and wholesalers right now.
I like it. Yeah. Wholesalers is a big one. I always, whenever I'm moving to a new market, it's like, in fact, I kick myself because the first few months that I was in Hawaii, I had built up this network here. I'd never thought to like network with wholesalers back where I actually invest. So I missed for like 6 months to a year. I missed out on good deals coming to me from that. But yeah, like one of the first, like right now, I'm probably going to be moving to San Diego in the near future. And so I'm looking at, okay, well, we buy houses San Diego, sell my house fast San Diego, like all the Google searches, try to get on the list now so that hopefully by the time we get ready to move out there, we'll have a property to try to house hack or whatever the case may be. So I think that's a lot of fun. Definitely a good way to do it.
And if you find a good wholesaler, like those guys and gals are invaluable when you find a good one. And there's not a ton of great ones, but when you do find the great ones, don't argue with them. Don't try to lowball them. Pay them. Let them make their money, right? Be the easy buyer, and then they'll just keep bringing you deals. And it just makes your life so much simpler.
Yeah, absolutely. So since you're an agent, and I have my license, but I haven't really dabbled with it too much out here because I don't primarily invest in Hawaii. But do you feel like, because I hear this all the time back and forth, do you feel like being an agent has made your life easier, more difficult, or not really affected anything as an investor?
Exponentially easier. I honestly, I really struggle with, I don't know how people do it without, because the investors that I talk to that don't have their license, They're always waiting. Well, I'm waiting for comps to come back from my agent. They don't have that data, that they can't pull the analytics that I can off the MLS. And not only do I have the MLS access, we have a thing called RPR, which is great. I can go back, I can look at when the deeds were recorded, if there's a mortgage, how much the mortgage is. I can pull a bunch of different data off of that and run great CMAs, market analysis, right, to kind of find out, like, hey, compared to other homes, what's it worth? Really, really easy tools. And so, like I said, I don't do a ton of agent work for other people, but for our own business, it has just made, finding our numbers, running our numbers so much easier because I have an agent.
Yeah, I agree. I sit there and piddle through the MLS, and I'm like, man, I'm so glad I have access to this myself now. Makes my life easy. So awesome. Well, hey, as we kind of roll through some of these questions, one of the things I always like to ask is if, I phrase it as an E1, E2, but if a young 18-year-old, whatever, was to walk up to you and ask you about financial advice, investing advice, life advice, whatever, you had a couple minutes to give it to them, what do you think you would, what do you throw at them?
Okay, financial advice, right? I kind of look at like all three. I think you can say something, right? Financial advice is like, have a budget, right? Figure out what that is. Don't get pulled into the culture of, well, I need to buy all this cool stuff and look cool, fast cars and all that. No, save your money, have a budget, know what's coming in, know what's going out, live underneath your means, because that's what's going to allow you to buy assets, right? So investing wise, which I just touched on, right? Buy stuff that makes you money, buy stuff that appreciates, buy stuff where people will pay it off for you instead of going out, taking your deployment money and buying a new Challenger or whatever it is, a new truck, whatever, which I have done, right? So I'm not sitting here up on my, soapbox. So, but yeah, do that kind of stuff. And then just general life advice, find a good woman, marry her, stay with her, because it will make your life a whole lot easier, right? And just better overall.
I agree with that piece. Man, you see some, and I get it. Love is, they say love is blind, but you don't fall into love before you put the blinders on, right? Like, I don't know. I don't understand that. People get involved with people they don't need to be, and they're like, oh, I'm in love. Well, you probably had the chance to turn it off before you were head over heels. Maybe not. But I don't know. There are people out there. I will say a spouse can make or break a lot because support, and aside from the emotional support and the home life and all that other wonderful stuff, being a command financial specialist, the number one reason that I hear for why a credit card has X thousands of dollars on it is spouse.
Yep. And
that goes male, female, whatever. But yeah, you got to be able to, hey, we can't be doing this. If they're not on board with the budgeting, then it doesn't matter if you are.
No, and that's such a huge part of our business is my wife does all of our design. She does all of our staging. She is just phenomenal, and we could not be where we are without her. And she only does, a small fraction of it, but she is my sounding board. She's the one that I come to and say, hey, this is what I'm looking at. Am I crazy? And there are so many times we've gone to a house and she'll be like, I got a bad feeling about this one. This is not going to work. And in the beginning, I didn't listen to her. I was like, whatever, dude, I got this. You don't know what you're talking about. And those properties were just horrible, right? So now when the wife's like spidey senses starts tingling, like I know, like, okay, I'm going down the wrong path here. And that's what a good spouse does, right? They round out not only your bad edges, but they balance you out, right? They fill in the rest of that. Wherever you're weak, hopefully if you've picked the right spouse, like they're strong and you guys make a great team together.
Yeah, absolutely. And we'll have to like network next time I'm in Missouri, because my wife is like the design type as well. I'm trying to get her more involved because out here it's kind of hard to play the design card when I'm 6,000 miles away from my properties. But once we move back, like she'll sit around like at work, like her birthday year was like an architectural graph pad and graphing like tools because she likes to sit at work and doodle drawing like floor plans and stuff. And I'm like, oh, perfect. So as soon as we get close enough that we can actually do that together, so I'll have to we'll have to come hang out so your wife can mentor mine. But
dude, get her the Joanna Gaines design book. It is like the best $23 you'll ever spend in your life. It's like this giant textbook of nothing but like design photos, and she breaks down like the 5 categories that like she designs, and she has all these examples. I just got it for my wife, and like she was totally geeking out on it.
I definitely will. I will I will look at that this afternoon. I appreciate it.
Yeah, man.
There's always room for brownie points. Awesome. All right. So what's one thing – I always ask this, and people always tell me it's not the military's job to teach about real estate, and I get that. But I like to ask, what do you wish the military taught you about real estate or finances? Because they're getting better about it, but I'm trying to help shape the future as far as what we do teach. Because, like, for example, the VA loan is this awesome benefit that nobody in the military knows anything about because we don't teach about it very well. So I'm trying to, not to steal your thunder if that's what you were going to say, but what are your thoughts?
VA loan, by the way, like you said, awesome thing to push to people. Same thing with the 9/11 GI Bill. Kind of just blows my mind that people don't take advantage of that either. And I'm not a huge proponent of higher education. Don't get me wrong; it's needed. There's a place. It's not what I'm saying. Just for me, I went down that path. I did all that. Just to me, like just going out, being an entrepreneur, doing that, like that was for me. So it's just my own personal 2 cents. But for the military, like you said, we give the most like rudimentary education on finance, and right, it's supposed to be a holistic approach, right? We're supposed to show guys and gals, soldiers, sailors, airmen, Marines. It's supposed to be when you're in the military, that is your life, and we're taking care of everything, right? We're showing you got medical covered. We're supposed to be teaching you all this stuff, not just about your job, or how to live. And so I think the military should be doing a better job of showing people, how to budget, right? Like how to plan for catastrophes, and especially, young soldiers coming in who are going to get out after 4 years. Like, hey man, what is your plan? Are you saving up? Don't be 3 months or 6 months away from getting out and not having a plan yet. But there's only so many hours in a day, so it's easy for me to sit here and say we should do a million things. But with the breakneck pace that you're going at, and so is everyone else, I don't know if there's too much more we can keep piling on the plate.
Yeah, you never know. So it's funny you mentioned your stance on the GI Bill. So I think as you and I talked earlier, I'm at the hinge point where I'm deciding whether I'm going to stay in or not. And so if I get out, it makes sense to transfer my GI Bill to my kids. However, I got a college kicker bonus on top of my GI Bill, which is, I don't really know who I please to get that to happen, because it's not a very as a recruiter, I think I saw it given away once, so I don't know. I hooked my recruiter up in some way, and I guess he returned the favor. So if you're listening, Bryson, I appreciate it. But I can't. So that's not transferable, and it's like a $50,000 kicker, but it's for living expenses. So basically, whatever my BAH is, that $50,000 gets split over however long it takes me to get my degree, on top of my BAH. So it makes no sense to transfer because I don't want to lose the $50,000 of free money. Well, I don't really, same boat, don't really need a degree, don't really care about getting to my degree. In fact, I'm finishing my last 3 weeks of my associates right now, and I'm miserable because it's just taking time away from other things. So what I'm thinking I'm going to do, and this is a total waste of funds, is I thought there's a marketing degree. There's a place I could go and get a marketing degree 20 minutes from my house. But if I drive 2 hours, I can go get my commercial pilot's license for an airlines. And I'm like, man, it is totally worth the extra hour and a half in the car 2 or 3 days a week to use my GI Bill to just fly an airplane around. That's something I can get behind. So I think there's a good chance I'm going to be going to Columbia College to get my to use my GI Bill to fly around an airplane. But
are you going to give me rides around?
That's exactly right. I wanted to find there's nowhere the closest. Man, this is such a side trail, so I'll make this as fast as possible. I wanted to get my helicopter license, but the GI Bill, the only place the GI Bill will pay for it is up in Topeka. I'm not commuting 4 hours. No. I can't justify that. So yeah, but that'd be super cool if I could get a helicopter license. But I suppose I'll settle for a free airplane, pilot license. We're going to go to a convention. We'll just grab a bunch of Missouri investors and fly there. And
well, as a person who wants to get free flights from you, you should definitely get out. You should pursue your dreams.
Oh man. All right. So rabbit trail, back to sanity. The GI Bill is great. And you're right. I don't know why people don't use it. You get your housing allowance paid for, and you can go to school for 2 days a week. And
even if you do it online, the BAH is less, but you still get a BAH, right? So like you said, you could do something, and then there was something for everyone. There really is. I looked around here, And there is a master's degree for like entrepreneurial real estate, right? Entrepreneurial real estate. I'm like, what a little niche, but it's right there. So I could have gone and done here and collected the full BAH, like you said, because I'm still vested in my 9/11 GI Bill. So yeah, use it, guys. Use your VA, use your GI Bill, do something with it, because you can go to trade schools, right? Like you said, or you can become a pop. There's so many things. It's not just, sitting in a classroom. You can use it for all sorts of stuff, or the VA itself will pay you to take your test for your real estate license, right? So use those things that are accessible to you that so many people don't, which I don't understand. I don't.
Yeah, absolutely. So many benefits. Might as well milk them. The right way, not by just making stuff up to, I don't.
Yeah, and then they're earned too, right? Like, it's not like you're getting something for nothing. Like you served, right? You put yourself in harm's way. So I don't feel bad for anyone using the benefits that they're entitled to that they've earned.
Exactly. Yeah. All right. So what makes the Dan Krupa method of real estate investing unique and or successful?
Oh, man.
I like that one because it's just a weird question and throws everyone off.
Yeah, well played, sir. Okay, so I already talked about, what kind of houses we target. I would say the thing for us, and we're not the only ones doing this, right? But we are focused on really high quality flips, even though they're still, entry-level houses, and we do things the right way. And it blows my mind, because we all, people that were in the military, we're used to a checklist, and there's procedures, and we follow that, we do it the right way. And even though it's red tape, we try to figure out our way through it, but we do it the right way. And there are so many people out here that are just doing sloppy work, not pulling permits, not getting engineer reports for bad foundations, not doing things the right way to cut small corners to save dimes. And in the end, they're losing dollars because nobody wants to come back and buy their flips again. Nobody wants to refer their clients to it because they know it's just a crap house, that it's a bad product, right? So I guess that would be something that we really focus on. I guess if you could say we had a method or a methodology, right? Like that's what we're focused on, is high quality, right? Because we want people to be happy with their house. We want agents to be like, yes, this is a good home. Let's get it in there. Let's get our clients in there as fast as we can.
Yeah, I agree. And I mean, there's always that fine line between, like best bang for your buck for investing. But at the end of the day, if you play the cheap game and nobody buys the house, holding costs will tear you apart a lot faster than just then putting a little extra into the work. If that makes sense. I think.
Yeah. Okay. So if you're going to, let's say, replace an electrical panel, right? You could go cheap and pay somebody $500 and they'll do it the wrong way, or you could pay the $1,500 to do it the right way with a master electrician. Okay. If that house burns down and people die, how much are you going to be liable for? Because you didn't do it the right way and you paid that $1,000. So if you look at it as a long game, right, you're not like you said. Of course, there are times you could be like, all right, we could use a laminate countertop here, or we could get away with white appliances instead of stainless steel, or hey, this floor is good. We just put in some LVT or whatever. Like, I got it, right, and that stuff you should. That's all part of the process, figuring out. But never ever cheap out on electrical stuff, your HVAC, your furnace, anything with gas, electrical. Do it the right way. Be smart about it.
Yeah, I don't need a fire and a lawsuit. Like,
yes, exactly.
That's exactly what I need in my life. Awesome. Well, hey, what's a resource, course, website, book, whatever that you would recommend for anyone looking to get started in real estate and kind of follow in your shoes?
So I got everything I learned. I got started off with Bigger Pockets, and there is you could spend 3 lifetimes on that site, right? Just reading forums and free articles and books. So if you want to learn about it, get in there, find a niche and stick to it, right? I'm on here talking about how I want to do X, Y, and Z. Okay, but at first I was laser focused on just learning how to flip, and now that we kind of have that down and we're bringing in more people and they're taking more off my plate, I can kind of expand and learn them. So go out there, learn, figure it out, ask a lot of questions, do that. And then the next one would be get your real estate license. Do it. If you're going to do this more than just casually and buy one a year, it is worth it to go and get your real estate license.
Yeah, I think the benefit of not paying commission every time you flip a house is huge in that world.
Yes. And not only that too, you're the one that there's nobody in between you and that other agent. that's kind of sugarcoating things and not giving you all the information. Like, you know what is being said between the agents, because you're talking to them directly, right? Who is going to sell your property better than yourself, right? Because you have that vested interest in it.
That's true. And then if you ever end up finding a deal, like as you do the wholesaling thing, you find a deal that you can't flip or whatever. One of the things that I've looked at doing with my license out here is instead of asking for a wholesaler fee and doing all that, I just say, hey, here's this awesome deal. Let me be your agent when you buy it, when you sell it. You get the commission on both ends. And that's ultimately out here in Hawaii, that's more than any wholesaler fee I would charge.
Oh yeah.
With also not having to do, it's not any more work really. I mean, I don't know, I'd rather work on that than try to, not that getting a wholesale fee is hard, but I think it's a lot easier to negotiate when you say, hey, look, I got this deal under contract for this much, and I'm not going to ask you for anything. Just let me be your agent. Then they're like, oh, well, like he's not making a profit off this. Well, I am, but I'm not. You're not getting charged for it. So
yeah. And here's another piece. And there's a guy out in Boston. I think his name's I think it's pronounced Tom Caffarella. I don't know if you've heard of him, right? So he was an investor. And now he's built this brokerage of like 90 agents. And so what they do is he started out as like a wholesaler and a flipper. And then he realized, right, and I've seen this too when I do our mailings, you get a lot of people that call, a lot of tire kickers and want to know like, hey, what's my house worth? They don't want to sell it, right, for 50% of fair market value or 60%. So those guys, he turns around and he just lists them. And he takes a 3% on this sale price right off that listing. So it's just, you should be, in my mind, once you've done this for a while, if you're going to do it, you should be able to capitalize on every single lead, right? And there is a way to capitalize on every single lead. And if you're an agent, that's one way. Like, hey, okay, let me come out. I'll tell you what your house is worth. Let's get it on the market. Let's get it sold. If you want to live there, and I'll take, 3% of $140,000 because, you don't want to sell me your house for $100K, and that's all right.
Yeah, I agree. Yeah, I think having an exit strategy is huge, but the fact that you can be super creative in real estate is something that I am a huge fan of, because that creativity really pays dividends in the long run. The more creative you are with financing and exit strategies, the easier real estate becomes. All right. Man, I really like that point about like opening a wholesaler essentially business, and then if they don't want to sell it for cheap, just listing it, because listings are so much easier than being a buyer's agent.
Yes. So for all of you who are listening, who aren't an agent, you don't know this, being a buyer's agent is extremely time consuming, right? And any of you out there who have gone, and I am guilty of this, I looked at 30 houses before you bought one. It is so much simpler to show up, right, and then just have them fill out some paperwork and talk through it and take the photos, put a sign out in the yard, and then you wait for people to come to you than being on the buyer side. So yeah, I love what this guy's doing out there in Boston. I think it's a great strategy, and like I said, it's something we're already, like I said, starting to implement it here, and hopefully we'll be up and running with that side of the house here next month. Yeah,
I'm excited. We'll have to definitely link up and sit down and talk. I'd love to pick your brain a little more about that down the road. All right. So before we wrap up, is there anything that you'd like to add? Parting advice, big ideas, anything crazy that we haven't gotten to cover?
So none of this is earth shattering, and I'm sure you've heard it a million times, but I always say this to everybody: set goals, right? Have goals, have 90-day goals, have 1-year goals. And then I do too, right? You can do 3, 5, 10, I don't care, right? But every day revisit those, write down things you're thankful with, right? Things you want to work on, follow those, and then just get in there and get going, right? I meet so many people, and I go to a bunch of meetups, and a lot of people I think really highly of, and they're great people, but they've been on the sidelines for 2 years, right? And there's just a million excuses why they can't get started, and they can't find a deal, and this, that, and the other. I'm like, dude, I'm not even from here, right? We've done 23 deals in the last 20 months, all right? And I'm not from here. So if we can do that, you've lived here your whole life, and you've been looking at this for the last 5 years, like, come on now. I'm sure you can find a deal and get rolling with it. So just get in there. You're going to take your lumps. It's like anything, right? No one came into the military, wherever you're at, you were perfect on it. Right? You had to learn, Yeah, to like break you down and teach you what you had to do. And so it's the same thing with being an entrepreneur. You're going to take your lumps, but just remember you're learning, right? You're not losing, you're learning.
I heard or not heard, there's a group out here, a meetup, and you cannot go to one of their meetings unless you've done at least one real estate deal. That's like their rule. And for better or for worse, I don't do that with my meetups because I want to talk to new investors and help new investors. But I know why they did it, and it's probably the most powerful. They call it the real estate mastermind group. It's probably the best meetup I've gone to out here, and I think part of that is because everybody in there has at least some level of experience and has made the leap and taken action. And so when you're going around asking questions and stuff, it's just a very high caliber group of people. And I think that, and that's not to say that there's anything wrong with not having done a deal yet. Everybody starts somewhere, but knowing and taking action is probably the most important part of the learning process. And people overlook that because they get so wrapped up in learning, the whole analysis paralysis thing. And then they don't take action when that's where you learn 80% of everything is by learning the hard way. Or, so I like that. Definitely getting out there, goals. And I like that you put writing down your things you're thankful for or gratitudes or whatever. That's huge. I'm a big fan of, I joke about this in the military, is we talk about all these, like if don't do X because then you'll get in trouble for Y or whatever, all the things you're not supposed to do that you'll get in trouble for, all the safety briefs and everything. I always say, like, man, if we could probably get rid of all of this if we just focused on teaching people to be good people. Like, just be a good person. Like, that solves most of life's problems.
Yeah. What's cool too is like when and I don't want to get all mushy here and go down a rabbit hole, but when you do your gratitude, right, and you look back, which I did right at the end of the year, just came, and it was like middle of December, I'm in my office, and I just started flipping through back at the beginning of the year and just kind of looking at stuff. And it is amazing how many awesome things happen to you in the year, but you just distracted, right, with all the noise. And, a lot of times when people's heads, you get that negativity, or I messed this up, or I got this going on, we're so busy. We just don't take time to reflect on, like you said, like, hey, these awesome things happen to me, and it makes me want to try harder, and it makes me want to be a better person. So, yeah, do it. It's really helped change my life.
Yeah, that's super exciting. Awesome. So, Dan, where can people get a hold of you if they want to ask you some questions?
Yeah, so it's kind of hard. I'm going to spell it out here, right? So you can email me at Dan@Reveille, right? Just like the bugle call in the morning that goes up, ReveilleHomes.com. That's Reveille, homes.com. We're on Facebook. You can search for us, Reveille Homes. I'm on Instagram now, thanks to my wife, right? And I'm Krupa. It's my last name, KRUPA_Rev. So that one's easy and short. I'm like on Twitter. I don't even know what that is, right? I don't even know what my handle is, but I'm on there just because I love to see the ridiculous things that other people say. But yeah, email me. I'm not on Facebook a ton, and I'm also on Bigger Pockets. If you're on there, you can search for me. Again, my last name is Krupa, KRUPA. Just look me up. I'm on there. And I'm always happy to help people in the military that are getting out, or people that are already out. I'll always take time to talk, kind of walk through you with your plans, or if you're still in, it doesn't matter. We got a huge heart here for active duty and for veterans, because like I said, that was our life for a long time. You know how hard it is. So thank you for everyone listening that's still in, and you did, for just serving, for being out there protecting us. It's awesome that people like you and everyone else out there that's listening, that's still serving, that you will give up your freedoms and your family time so the rest of us can be safe and do what we wanted to do.
Awesome. There's that gratitude. No, that's super cool. And I don't think we've actually connected on Bigger Pockets yet, so I'm going to have to shoot you a request after this. I'll make sure, so for everyone listening, I'll post his email address and the Instagram handle, because I like Instagram, especially for houses. Super convenient. Just take pictures and post hashtags, although it took me a long time to get over the whole hashtags are not some weird millennial thing. And then someone told me I'm a millennial. And, after I came to terms with that, it was like, oh, well, I guess I should start. What's the hashtag?
Dude, when were you? Can I ask you on air? When were you born? Because I'm the same thing. Like, I'm like the very oldest of a millennial, and it just really chaps me that I'm like in that category. Because I'm like, come on, man. Now
90. So I'm like a few years into the mark, but I swear, I'm an old man soul, but I don't whatever. The Gen whatever is between X and they're trying to make a genre out there. Disgruntled old service members generation.
Well, what people don't know is when you serve in the military, right? It's like dog years, right? So every year in the military is like 3 for a normal person. So, if you've done 10, you got to add 30 years to your life. So you're pretty much 50-year-old.
Greatest generation. Yeah. That's what I'm going to claim. I identify as the greatest generation. All right. Anyway, hey, Dan, I really appreciate having you on here. I think this has been solid. I look forward to next time I'm in Kansas City, which I don't know. I'm probably going to be home for like 30 days this summer, so I might have to drive up there and say what's up. But I look forward.
Oh, yeah, we'll definitely link up, man.
Yeah. I'll come up there and network, and we'll have to I'm going to look up that book you recommended for designs too, so I appreciate it.
Yeah, absolutely. It's been great. Thanks for having me, Dan. This is awesome.
Anytime, brother. Have a good one.
Yeah, man. Take care.